Mm-hmm. Let me just pull up the YouTube as well here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think we should be live. So, good day, everybody. This is the Ecclesiarch here, back with some more Horus Heresy Legions. Every time I say that, I'm holding myself off from saying it's the physics teacher here. But anyway, yeah, I'm still having a hard time getting rid of the habit.
You're a man of God now.
I sure am. And that the lore behind it is actually pretty funny as well. But more on that later. I'm back again, as always, with your favorite fun police, Shadowland. So, Shad, how's it going?
Yeah, not good, not bad, thanks. Not bad. It's been interesting entries this time. But yeah, I've just been thinking about your lore, basically. You should make a holy trinity at this point. It's God, physics, and golf.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's gotta be my new banner.
Someone get on that. Make a profile picture, yeah.
Oh my god, you just gave them the meme idea of the century, so it's gonna be pretty crazy.
God, golf, and gravity.
Yikes. Hey, all three are G, so that works.
Right. I'm still not picking up your stream. It's fine. It'll pop up in a minute.
Okay.
I don't need to see your stream anyway until we get to a card that is a late submission.
Yeah, if we get any, we'll see about that. So we got ZMK Gaming and Little Grey Dog coming in. Hey boys, nice to see you. So welcome. So guys, as you remember, and hello Wormy friend, we had the Legacy Reborn tournament where you guys had to balance already existing cards, and we actually had some really cool submissions, so would love to see how that rolls. Anyway, as always, Shad, let's start off with our own ideas, and yours is first, which is the Winter Squad. Mind presenting?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's Winter Squads. You're probably familiar with this thing. It was always rubbish, so I buffed it. It's a 1 energy, 1/2 with frontline, and I have included Ward. It didn't have that before, it was just frontline. So previously, this was just garbage you got off Ornatov's barge. That was the only reason you'd ever play it. It was always a really crap pull whenever you got it. It's still basically very weak, because a 1/2, that's an instant face bash. It just dies instantly. But with wards, you can do things with this. You can buff it. You could try and make some cheap little, death blob out of it. And the ward helps it protect it so you don't get 2-for-1 by some removal. The reason it has wards is flavor-wise. So obviously, ward is heavily associated with the Space Wolves. And the Space Wolves are associated with winter. And ward, in their cases, a lot of it is runic sort of anti-magic protection. But it doesn't have to be exclusively that. It can also represent, fending off the elements, or, bunkering down or hunkering down under the snow and the ice and in trenches, which is what I was going for with Winter Squad. That's kind of what ward is. In Magic the Gathering terms, there's a card called Brave the Elements that grants protection, for example, and that has a very similar effect. That's kind of what I was going for.
All right. Yeah, I actually pretty like this a lot because, just like Wormy Friend just said, it's now moderately annoying or slightly. So
yeah, exactly.
That's pretty good. Like, this is not something that really will get out of hand in most games, but it can become a bit of a problem. Like, if you have warlords that can buff, like Arton Massad, for example, it can be a little bit annoying. So I like the idea of it for sure. So yeah, pretty good. I like it. It's a good way to buff it, and flavor-wise, it's also pretty good.
Thanks. All right. Take it away, T.
Okay.
Sorry, no, you are man of God now.
Yes. So I got the Melgator. There were a lot of Melgator submissions today, to be honest. There's like a ton. I'm not surprised because this is one of the most broken cards that has ever existed in this stupid game. So, yeah. I thought about like what makes this card so terrifying. What made it so terrifying was that it could shut down the enemy tempo completely while also leaving a small body. It defined the meta, making 4 attack units useless, and yada yada yada. So I decided, why not make it something that can target only friendly troops? So basically something that only targets the friendly troops, and it returns to your hand, but on the other hand, it also reduces the cost to 1. Now, some people might say that like a big problem might be that maybe like you can do it on a fast unit and so on, but don't forget, Melgator still costs 2, and if you're using a very huge like fast unit, like let's say the Raven, for example, you're still unable to do this unless you have both plus double drilling sight, basically. So unlikely scenarios. It can be annoying in some cases, but it does also let you set up some very interesting plays. And hello, Master Cross. Hello, Gothic Avatar. Hello, everybody, once again. So what do you think, chat?
I don't know. It feels kind of toxic because this is essentially a full heal. So if you're ahead on board, you have a big troop, they can do a nice value trade, but it leaves their thing almost dead. Ambassador Melgator comes down, bounces it back, you play it back for 1. So it's a 3 energy full heal, and you get to harvest the rallies or the courages or whatever again. And then if that's not even considering the combo potential, like you pointed out before as well. Honestly, maybe if it's the cost reduction, I think, that makes it so broken. If it was like reduce by 1 or by 2 or whatever, rather than a flat 2-1, that would be a bit less disgusting. I mean, I actually rebalanced this for a project of mine as well, and it's a very similar approach. Mine was return a troop with, I don't know, 4 or less attack, I think it was, to your hand, but then reduce its cost by 2. So if it's an enemy troop, you can still hit them, but it will reduce their cost by 2 and make it easier for that opponent to replay it. So stuff like that. But
want to know a funny thing?
Yeah. Is it supposed to be reduced by 1 and you just mistyped?
No. You're gonna rage right now, so it's Warp Forge. We actually have this literal card there, and it's not even a legendary. It's an epic card for Tau.
Oh, fucking Tau. Well, that makes sense. Tau is supposed to be annoying. I still remember Fish of Fury.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so anyway, guys, enough from us. Let's now get to the actual submissions. Again, if you notice that I missed anything or it's not here, yada yada, please just send it over, tell me, and I'll double check on my mail. So, Shad, the first is yours.
Right, Canis Vertex. This is a rework of the classic Chaos Warlord Titan, the only unit with Psyker that ever hit the main game that was not a Thousand Suns card. But now it is! So it is now a Thousand Suns Epic Warlord, been downgraded, but then you can only have 1 legend per faction, so that makes sense. It is Canis Vertex, Possessed Warlord Titan. Your deck can have only tactics or only troops. Interesting restriction. Psyker 2, which is stronger than every other Psyker Warlord these days. They used to have 2, I believe, natively, but no Warlord has more than 1 by default now. And 2 energy, deal 2 damage to 2 random enemies. So, yeah, I don't know about that. That seemed, Oh, well, no, only tactics or only troops is interesting, but it's lost its Titan weapons, and in response, it's gained a very powerful. Like, this is the thing, man. You got to remember, there's a neutral warlord that is already this. What is it? Captured Mandragorax, the only legendary I don't have in Legacy mode, and it really pisses me off. But also, this has Psyker 2 on top of that, and that just seems a bit excessive. I mean, yeah, it has a deck building restriction, but that I don't think that compensates for, actually being able to use faction cards, which is the advantage this has over Captain Mandragorax. And it can now attack, and it just doesn't function like any other Warlord Titan. I feel like you kind of shaved off its uniqueness by removing the Titan weapons in this case.
It's a Thousand Suns Warlord too, keep that in mind.
Yeah, but I mean, that would still be cool, wouldn't it? A Thousand Sun Titan.
It would.
Yeah. I always wanted Canis Vertex, the original one, to be a Thousand Suns Warlord.
It actually should be, I think. It would make sense. Like,
I did make it one, remember?
I do remember that. You know what makes me surprised? Like, the idea itself is really cool. You're moving it to Thousand Suns, and you're rebalancing one of the most annoying cards that has ever existed, because every time this thing was meta, it was just disgusting.
Everyone hated it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, why would you like it? But here, it just seems like it's a better captured Mandragorax, because it's the same thing, but it has Psyker 2. Of course, the downside is the restriction, sure, but to be fair, most people still played captured Mandragorax on full tactics anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, realistically, what have they got in there? Like, Ambassador Melgator, maybe Jubac and Kai, that's basically it. They don't give a shit about the other troops, they just throw tactics at your face until you die.
Yeah, so that's the initial problem. Is it just invalidates one other card while also kind of losing its uniqueness as a Titan weapon. But I don't mind that, because fuck the whole Titan weapon scheme. It just ruined the whole game. But yeah, I'd say there's a good potential here, but certainly needs more work.
Right. You next then?
Yes, and we have the Aquilon Terminator. So we got some Custodes. 9 energy, 8-9. I think that's the original stats for Aquilons. Still has the Sentinel, has the front line, and it has Exemplar. Put in play 1 Aquilon Terminators. This is actually pretty interesting, honestly. To be honest, I like it a lot. I don't know if you're going to police it, chat, but I really enjoy this. Because, essentially, you're still dropping a very slow troop, but instead of now having that stupid ability nobody cared about, now it's a vanguard, it's a front line, and if it survives, it's going to summon a second Aquilon. And the good thing is they cannot multiply further because Chad, I think my voice is coming back from you sometimes.
Oh, sorry. Let me.
Okay, yeah. So what I was just gonna say is that it's not going to multiply because as soon as you have 2 of these guys, they're not going to multiply because Exemplar only works when there's like no other Custodes on the board. So I think actually this could be really good. Even if you would use Magna Imperator, I think this would not trigger twice because once you trigger once, there should be another Terminator and should not trigger a second time if
I think they would both go off, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. If the G Spaghetti code works that way, then yes, and it could be toxic as hell. But other than that, I think this is pretty good. Gothic Sabotage.
Yeah, no, I don't actually have much to complain about either. I would say the only things I have a few queries with is Exemplar is spelt wrong. It should be EXE, but then that's a keyword that doesn't exist in the thing yet. So like, that wouldn't be a problem if it was updated because it wouldn't register the keyword until you spelt it right. So not even really a problem there. Colon after it doesn't need to be that either, and it shouldn't be legendary, honestly, I don't think. Because for one thing, the original's an epic, if I remember correctly, and 2, a legendary that duplicates itself feels weird outside of like strange demon or psychic stuff. So flavorfully, it doesn't really work either, and the original wasn't anyway. So that would be my only quibbles. But overall, no, I agree with you. I quite like it. Honestly, though, I still don't know if it would be that good, simply because it's kind of all or nothing. Like you play it, the front line helps. It does have immediate impact, but if it eats a hard removal, yeah, you're still dead.
I think it should be an epic at least, punch. Yeah. Probably
but, no, it's balanced, I think. It's very strong if you let the Exemplar go off, of course, but, no worse than Heracul Calaxor or something, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. By the way, look at this. Master Cross. Chad, when he sees a card, is the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever heard.
Not true. I'm nice sometimes.
That is very true. Gothic Savitar says, Ecclesiar, can we make a bet? I bet the Chad hates my card.
Oh, can I get on that action? How much are you betting?
Oh, that's a hard one because I kind of also think he might hate it.
Well, I can't see the names, so I'm biased here.
Okay, you're not gonna know which one it is until you.
Yeah, exactly. Until afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on then.
All right. Nut. All right. All submissions of this tournament in a nutshell. Nice. I see what you did there. Teacher, very cool. This makes the card much better. Shad, nah, this is even more broken with Gift of Fortitude. Actually, Gift of Fortitude only hits Astartes, and I think you'll find that the type you've given these is plant/nut.
Do
better.
By the way, where's the author? I think this was from Hypnomarine.
It's a meme. It is, Would I play these? Fucking assuming they add structure type like they look like they should have. No. This is, well, to be honest, is it better bunker? No, 0-6 is worse than 1-5. It is 1 energy cheaper, I suppose. And Tall Nut is terrible. What the fuck?
That Tall Nut is just bad.
Yeah.
And it's ugly. Okay. Oh, wait a minute.
Awesome.
I actually removed the Garvial Loken. I'm not sure why it's still there because this was exchanged. So we're going to fast forward over that. And we're going to get to Ambassador Melgator.
Yeah, I can't see it. Don't worry, it's updated for me. So yeah, you want to read this one, or shall I? Since the last one was a joke.
Yeah, I guess I'll read this one. The Garvia Loken was removed because we have a different submission
Yeah,
from the
yeah, no
guy.
worries. It's further down or something. Yeah.
Okay, so we got Ambassador Melgator, which is now a 1/3 and a 6 energy card. The rally on it is reduce max capacity of both players' hands to 5. Then discard random cards until both player has max 5 cards left in their hand.
Ooh.
Oh, that's gonna hurt so much in a lot of cases. Like, oh my god, imagine if somebody's like discarding their like legendaries. Yeah,
it's expensive effect though, but yeah.
This gives a lot of interesting ideas, I guess, because like and it comes in quite late into the game as well. It's a very slow play, like because if the enemy has something on the board, you're just dropping a very weak unit. But what you're doing is you're limiting the enemy hand quite a bit. Technically speaking, this might be good in some cases. Like this is perfect against Magnus because then he cannot press his draw. When you're playing against like some control factions, you can mess up their game completely, I guess. Also, that there are, I would say, some very good and interesting ideas, but this is gonna be super annoying. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't really like it. There's a couple of reasons. There's no issues with the formatting though, which is quite nice, except you put an erroneous full stop after max. But that's a small thing. Also, there's a paragraph break between the two lines, even though it's the same effect. But yeah. Main issues. Let's see. So one, it doesn't really harken back to the original card that much, so it's not really kind of following the brief that well. But that's fine if it's an interesting design, which it is. It is an interesting design. Can't argue that. But it's also toxic. So the best point of comparison here would be shit, what is it called? Edict of Sensia, the old Imperial army neutral from Prospero. So what that does is that shuffles the offending cards, tactics in this case, back into your opponent's deck. And that feels a lot more fair because you're not going to just destroy things that your opponent might need for a combo game plan. It'll still set them back, but it doesn't, ruin them forever. Also, I just don't think it's very strong, honestly. I don't really see this is a very heavy control tool. Like you would only play this in a meta that's absolutely dominated by like heavy control decks. Which creates weird interactions there because if both players are running it because of the meta, the first person who plays it gets punished because the second person gets the effect and doesn't have to play their garbage 6 energy 1/3. No, it's just very strange and toxic and odd. Interesting though. Interesting. But yeah, no.
Yeah, Sevatar, you were right. He hates it.
Oh, is that Sabotage? I didn't hate it. I said it was okay.
Yeah, actually, you didn't. You did like the idea. Yeah. And hello, Shockwave. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I think he didn't hate it. He just thinks that it's pretty toxic.
Yeah. Grey Dog said funny with AL, and actually it's not because Alpha Legion, so much of their synergy turns off when you lock your opponent's max hand size to 5. So it'd actually be really shit with Alpha Legion, ironically.
Maybe it's good against Alpha Legion.
5 cards in hand or 10 cards in hand because, their hand is going to be full if you're playing a deck right with Alpha Legion anyway. It doesn't matter how much they have in hand. So, it would be terrible with Alpha Legion, ironically.
Fair enough. I think so too. It should be an Alpha Legion counter though.
We might do that, Sev. That'd be quite funny.
Look at this. Gothic Sevatar tournament idea. Create the card that Chad hates the most.
No, I can't. No purples allowed if we're doing that, or I have limits.
Remember, like, when Cheeker made, like, 20 purples for you? Like...
No, I kind of got that one, though, because that was, like, what was he called? Fucking the make-your-own spell guy from Hearthstone. I got what he was going for there. It wasn't really 20.
Yep. Okay, moving on. So, Feron Militia. This is actually very interesting.
Alright, Feron's Militia. 1 energy, 1/2 common Imperial Army infantry. It has resolution. Put in play 1 Feron's Militia. So there's a few things they've done here. So the original is a 2/1, not a 1/2. Debatable whether this is a better stat line. I would argue on average, no, but it is more resilient to like tiny incidental board wipes. But more importantly, the ability's gone from a relentless to a resolution, which is a lot stronger, obviously. So now it's kind of like a really budget, like shitty Plague Toads, I suppose. Except not really, because Plague Toads is relentless as well. I mean, yes, it'll most likely survive if it's dropped on turn 1 or 2, but you know, I actually really quite like this design because it's you need something on board to stop it. But again, if it runs away with the game a bit, it can't be that bad because it's just a 1/2. It's just a little, it's a little baby. It can't do much. It fits with the theme. It's militia. Militia are supposed to be crap because they're improvised army infantry units, essentially. Yeah, this is quite a nice redesign, honestly. I still wonder if maybe it should have kept the original stat line is the only thing, but I do like it. Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to check who actually sent this. Can't really seem to be finding it, but overall, I think this is a very, very good change. This is one of my favorites. I'll be honest with that, because the thing with this is, as you said, not only does it make it a better card overall, but like the better thing here is also that even if you like swarm the board with it, it only has one attack. So if somebody's playing it with like bullshit spammy warlords, it's not going to be that bad. So I think this is like a very healthy change. I really like it.
Yeah. It'd be very annoying, but it wouldn't be like overpowered. It's just like, oh my, be buried in fucking bodies. Would you just? I'm trying to commit genocide here, and they just keep on coming back.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's pretty fun. Good on Death Guard potentially. Good for Sanguinius, like in general Requiem. So pretty good stuff. Yeah, like it.
Mm. Right, yours next.
We got Lukas Chrom. But listen, can you actually remind me what the hell this guy did in the past?
It's pretty much the same as this one. So the original is a 6/9, if I remember correctly, and it has relentless. If you control other troops, put in play a Caban machine, I believe.
Ah, okay. So what this does, it's drops a Caban machine on a rally, but it also gains can't attack until this troop dies. So essentially what it does is it does give you that Caban machine value instantly, but it also kind of cripples it and tells you, okay, while this guy is alive, that guy just can't attack. To be honest, this is leagues better than the old Lukas Chrom, because I've never really seen Lukas Chrom being played other than Desperate Defense decks, where it was just a thing to drop everything that had a high cost into your deck, which was kind of stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
And
although it doesn't work with that anymore because it's a rally now, so that would actually make him worse for Desperate Defense. But then there's so many better cards you can play with that nowadays.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is overall a better change. I'm not sure like how strong this would be, but it's still a pretty good late game thing, because it does drop 2 big bodies. And look at it, it has 9 costs. So if you had a warlord like, let's say, Commander Ornatov, if you remember, you would just play this on 10 and just frontline the Caban machine. So there are some interesting things you could do this as a tool for creating a big body, which then you can turn into a front line or something like that. I wouldn't say like it's a something that instantly gonna make this card playable, but it's 100 times better than what it was, at least I think. What do you think, Shad?
I really like it, but I have issues. So first of all, it's way too strong in my opinion, because that is just so much. Yeah, it's so much stats. Like, look at that. Like, yes, a 6/8 is kind of a crap body for 9 energy, but you got to remember this is a 6/8 your opponent cannot kill, because if they do, there is a giant. What is it, like a 9/9 with shield? I think
it's a 10/10. I think even.
It's fucking huge. Whatever it is, it's massive. So Lukas Chrom is essentially unkillable, because the last thing you want to do is unleash that monster. So it's a lot of stats essentially, because you can your opponent basically isn't allowed to have a big board, otherwise they can just chuck Lukas Chrom into one of it and instantly activate their next thing. But I do actually like a lot of that. I just think he should be weaker and less threatening. I would say like nerf it down to like a 4/5 maybe. It's a lot less, I know, but it needs to be, and also it's a bit more fragile, which is that actually makes more interesting play with AoEs and things like that. Also, I have some issues with the way the ability is worded. I like the rally, if you control no other troops, yeah, and all that. But I don't like the way it gains can't attack until this troop dies is worded, because we had a similar issue with one of the winners from I think it was the Custodes tournament or something like that, 10 energy one, where if you bounced it, the dies trigger would never go away, essentially. And this is the same problem. So what it should have instead is a passive ability that says something like Kaban machines you control can't attack. Just a passive aura effect
Yeah,
that's
that's a good
always active
rewording.
while Lukas chrom is in play. Because it's never going to matter otherwise, because who the fuck's playing Kaban machine? You know? So, oh no, my Kaban machines I already had in play. They can't attack now. Yeah, said nobody ever. But yeah, also I'm thinking I would love to play this in Caleb Decima. I have a Caleb Decima Legacy deck. He is a lot of fun, and this guy doubles up, so it'll be a really good 9-drop. So yeah, I like it. I really, really like the redesign's intent. There's just a few like rough edges.
Fair enough. Pretty good card. A couple of rough edges, but surely a very sweet redesign. Okay. Oh,
Right,
we got Sharrowkyn. Go on. We had a couple of Sharrowkyns actually. So go on.
Yeah, lots of people like that guy, and that bugs me because I love playing the regular guy. So like, he's perfect. Don't you touch my bird. Anyway, Nykona Sharrowkyn, an epic 235 Raven Guard warlord, of course, of the 66th company. He has a purple Shadow's Verdict. He is unstoppable. Well done. Got a jump pack. Ambush. Gain +1 attack and first strike this turn. And his active ability is 2 energy, gain stealth, lose it when this unit takes damage. So with high initiative. I'll touch on the purple card as well. First, it's just a simple 1 energy, give your warlord +2 attack to your warlord this turn. So it's kind of boring, really. I don't understand why that's there. I mean, I know he's a duelist, and that's why it's there, but I've never been a fan of shots like that, especially ones that do so little. But yeah, no. So the biggest issue I have is that active ability. So for one thing, gain stealth, lose it when this unit takes damage. There are 2 issues with that already. One, it's repeatable. You can just be stealth forever. So instantly, horrible mistake. Secondly, the way it's worded implies that even if you don't lose it in some way or get or spam it, it looks like it's supposed to function like old stealth, where it doesn't go away unless you act or do something, or in this case, take damage. Which, to be fair, is a lot easier to get rid of than using proper anti-stealth, because any AoE will do it. But it's still very toxic to have on a warlord repeatably. So yeah. The ambush is interesting, but my main issue with this is I just take away his ability to gain stealth, and the ambush becomes instantly a lot more interesting because you actually have to build around it then. But yeah, no, I don't like this. None of it really works very well, in my opinion.
I think the problem mainly we have with this guy are 2 things. I would say that, as you said, this guy can keep pressing his ability and he's never going to leave stealth. I understand that taking damage is supposed to balance it out, but like there's only a few ways somebody can deal damage to a permanently stealth unit, right? So you're not going to be able to really deal with this. Master Cross says a correct thing. If you're playing against something like Red Loss, then sure, yeah, it's trash. But what if you're not playing against something that has that, right? Then that means that everybody has to play resolution, deal 1 damage units, and the whole meta has to be built around 1 warlord, and it's still going to be toxic because there's only so many things you can put there. Plus, the ability is also toxic. 1 energy, give +2, that's not good. Corswain has a similar thing with +2 and like from the first strike, but it's 2 energy. I can understand like 1 +2, but the issue with this is not that the damage is too high, is that if this guy is stealth and then ambushes and does that, he already has 5 damage, and then there are Khorne's favor shenanigans that give him a huge lethal range as well. So yeah, just annoying and possibly abusable is my problem with this card.
I agree, absolutely. Yeah, ZMK actually specified it doesn't work the way I thought it did. So yeah, it is still regular stealth. It's just balanced so that you can, but it's still busted even when taking that interpretation. So yeah, no, sorry, it doesn't work. Just none of it works properly.
Yeah, you can just press it every single turn, is what I mean.
Yeah,
like, and then that's it. You're always stealthed.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
I love the art, though, actually. There you go. That's one thing I can say complimentary about. That art is spectacular.
Definitely better than the alt art they presented us from Sharrowkyn.
God, yeah, don't remind me of that. Ugh.
Captain Tank Nemetor, the guy who's never played. Okay, so we got... yes, Maester Cross, you can definitely send your card right now. Final Sacrifice. Relentless. Heal 1. 1. Until your next turn, gain +2, similar to what he had. And when each friendly troop is attacked for the first time this turn, attack your warlord instead. Ooh. So this is essentially the reverse of Vargard Oberon, where it's not that the troop forces you to attack him when the warlord is attacked, but the opposite. You're forced to attack it when you're attacking a troop. And what's the final sacrifice? Final sacrifice is 3 energy, give survivor 1 to your units, and sacrifice, create a random artifact in your hand and reduce its cost by 2. So when each friendly troop is for the first time this turn. This is very toxic.
Kind of, but it's basically just a frontline warlord, but less binary, I suppose.
The problem with it is that apart from frontline, it also gets like the +2 for the attack.
Yeah, that seems like too much for 1 energy. I do agree.
And yeah, I'm sorry. Teacher is Zir is right. He said teacher it's reduced its cost to 0. So yeah, sure. I mean the ability is actually well thought out though, because what happens is that you're essentially trying to protect your small fry with that 1 energy, and then you drop that and gain a huge value with those artifacts. But even though I like the idea, I can see this becoming quite toxic in many ways, and I'll tell you why. Personally, because salamanders already have very high survival units because they have survivor mostly, so you're at least going to have to attack most of those units twice to remove them, like 2 sources of damage, and with this guy on the board you need at least 3 sources of damage. So I think this just has a chance of becoming very toxic. What do you think, Shad?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that the ability harkens back to the original because it's the original guy was also +2 attack, but it feels too cheap at 1 energy. Make that a 2 energy ability and it's a bit more reasonable.
Yep.
I do agree with your assessment as well, though. Of it's just kind of promotes a bit of a toxic gameplay style. Also, there's a few formatting issues. It doesn't have an initiative for one thing, but also in the purple, the final sacrifice, you've put your units in the wrong place. It should be give survivor 1 and sacrifice, create a random artifact, blah 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 blah. And then you put to all your units or to your units or something like that. So just a minor quibble there, but otherwise, yeah. Normally, I would also yell about it's got the nickname in the middle of the actual real name on the card on the left, Captain Tank Nemetor. But that is actually allowed in this one specific case because it is specifically a nickname. It's not actually part of the real name. So I believe EG do in fact word it like that, format it like that. It's fine. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here, but it's just it's just another. It's a frontline warlord, and those have historically either been terrible or awful to play against, with no in between.
Hey Shad, we got a new submission right here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, take a look at my stream. So I'm going to wait for you to catch up to the stream.
Yeah, it's usually a couple seconds behind, isn't it?
Yeah, but you just gotta see it yourself.
Okay.
This is the best redesign I've seen in my life.
Destroy the Shad argument about this card, or make the next card win the tour. What's the Shad argument about this card? This card won me a tournament before, actually. I got a legendary because of the card. It was great. I guess the Shad argument is that it only hits vehicles, so it's trash. That's accurate.
Hey, vehicles and structures, man.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because people play so many fucking structures.
hey, you want to destroy that Alduruk, don't you? Okay.
Oh, it's in the shop today. It's shit.
Is it?
It's so shit.
And I love it though. I love the whole idea of
the
it.
art's so good, isn't it? It's such a fucking waste of art.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. That's one of the cards that needs some love. Anyway, moving on to Alastor Rushal, who apparently became a warlord. So chat.
Hey, Raven Guard card for me. All right, so let's see. Alistar Roshal. He has become a Raven Guard, a Night Lord's Warlord. Sorry, 235 as usual for an epic. The Raven. He has a purple Ravenous Strike. I forgot to mention this for the for the Sharrowkyn card, but you don't bold purples either, so that's another thing back there. But this one isn't bolded correctly. Active ability, 2 energy, give stealth to a random friendly troop. Next time, give sentence 1 to an enemy this turn. So that's kind of like a sort of interesting take on the Corax's ability. It's similar. It gives sentence 1 instead of spawning that crappy 1/2. I forget the name of it. And the purple is Ravenous Strike. Deal 1 damage to an enemy twice, missing a space there. You also don't need the comma. Return this card to your deck and draw a card. That's a strong active, but yeah, I mean, he needed a little zing, honestly. And this thing, this is the kind of purple card that I don't mind because it actually would function into the deck. It's not just a one and done little extra bit of value they give you because they're like, oh shit, we made the warlord too weak. Quick, I don't know, slap a generic purple card on. That'll help. This actually would influence your deck a bit. You might try and build around this, although it's in the wrong faction because this obviously he wants to be using more sentenced, but only he has sentenced because he switched sides. He's not a Raven Guard anymore. He switched to Night Lords. So I don't know how much leverage you could really get out of it, but it is interesting and it's very efficient. Um, yeah, it's fine. I don't know. It's not sparking much joy either here, to be honest. It would just play like a Night Lord warlord. You'd play stealth and ambush troops. You'd give them stealth again. Sentence 1 would ping people for the extra bit of damage now and again. It's an interesting idea, but it doesn't really work fully as a warlord.
Yeah, I like it and don't like it at the same time. I like how he made the purple card actually. Pretty cool because it's a very good synergy with the warlord itself and it's not a one-time stupid bonus, let's just say like that. It has an okay ability for sure. It does have synergy with the Night Lords, obviously. It's also rotating so that you don't spam it and be too toxic because some Night Lords card could potentially become very toxic because imagine they ambush, they reduce the Warlord's damage to 0, then they attack, you stealth them again, and it could lead to some very toxic things. So it's good that it rotates. Yeah, I just think that it's very simple, you know, like generic, not too special. It's just gonna be an alternative to Jago's Avatar. But overall, not bad. I quite like it, but I just think that it's kind of not like I would not play him a lot. I guess where there's Avatar exists, but yeah, why not? I mean, an alternative is always all right. I guess.
What do I do to make him like feel like the Raven from the original one? Because what's he famous for? He has fast. That's what he's famous for. So mine would be something like 2 energy, gain sentenced 1 until your next turn. So it's a negative, straight up just negative. But then the next activation is 2 energy, give a troop in your hand fast or something like that. Just nuts powerful, something like that. And you could do something with that. You could do something interesting with that. And it would really feel like him. It might be a bit toxic because you might have to balance it more, you know, slap some more sentenced on or whatever. But yeah. I think that would be an interesting build right there.
Agreed. Yeah. And we got another Sharrowkyn. So now he's a common though.
That's just an error, must be right.
I know. It has Unstoppable. Does get an ambush to gain +2 on the next attack this turn. And 2 energy gain stealth. Next time, draw a tactic. Okay, so this guy does not spam unlike the other one. So, you know what? This is not too bad. I'll tell you what I like about it and what my issue is. I like this card over the previous one for sure. First of all, it's not that toxic by spamming stealth. It does get a draw and does get an ambush. He basically has a choice. Either he uses that ambush or then he has to draw and then he has to stealth again. My only issue with this is that the original Nykona is better, I think, because the original Nykona is just that more effective. You stealth, you attack, then you stealth, you attack. With this guy, by attack I mean deal 2 damage, not 2, it was 3 damage. With this guy, you stealth, then you have to attack, then you have to draw, and then you have to stealth. So, and also, like as Cross said, it has medium initiative, so yikes. I think the old Sharrowkyn is just a little bit better than this, but it's not bad though. I
don't know whether it's better or not, honestly. I don't know. That would need testing. It's more aggressive, this version is.
I mean, it
This
is.
is more mana efficient, basically. That's how I would say, energy efficient rather. Because yes, if you're activating it every turn, the old one is better. It'll do more damage and it'll stay safer. But if you're activating Nykona every other turn, it's like you said, stealth, attack, draw in that order, and then stealth again, obviously. That's a lot more efficient. You're only spending 4 energy over 3 turns instead of 4 energy over 2 turns, and that gives you more time to play your actual cards and tactics, which you draw more of because of the active ability. I think this might actually be stronger. The initiative being lower is a balancing factor. I'm not sure I like it though because it doesn't fit the flavor of Nykona very well. But like the having a lower initiative. But overall, yeah, it's an interesting design. I actually do quite like this.
Yeah, as I said, it's very, very interesting. I kind of feel like the old one's better, but definitely an interesting design. It's not bad for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, obviously, it's got the error as well. It should have been an epic rarity, but it's that's quite obviously an error. Isn't it stronger? Says Grey Dog. I don't know. I play the original a lot. Vicious deck with him actually, but I think I don't know. I think this one might be. I think I might play this over the original if I had access to it.
Hmm, fair enough. Okay, let's go to Kharn. That's your Shad.
All right. Hang on. Uh, sorry, the folder's being weird. Oh no, he's in there twice. I see. Okay. Kharn, captain of the Eighth Company. That is some beautiful art wherever you found that. So it is an epic World Eater's warlord, of course, 235. It has a purple, Butcher's Nails, Savage. Draw on a Starties from your deck. Give it Bloodthirst. God damn, that's a strong Savage. Okay. No
Holy
active
hell.
ability. Interesting. And high initiative. The Butcher's
Oh,
Nails is 3 energy. Give 2 attack to your units this turn. Your warlord gains has +1 cleave for each enemy troop. So that's badly worded in a couple of ways, but it's interesting. Probably too strong though, because that reads like a permanent ability. So if that's 3 energy to always have cleave equal to the amount of enemy troops in play, that's pretty disgusting. So
uh,
that's too strong. But yeah, I have some other issues as well. The art's lovely, but also he's wearing a jump pack. I don't think that's supposed to be. And if it is supposed to be Kharn, he shouldn't then the jump pack should have unstoppable in the rules. And also, it looks like a weird Primaris jump pack there. I don't quite know what's going on here. Is this like an alt universe version where Kharn lives or something? But yeah, no, he looks like a loyalist actually. Now I think about it. Um, Analyzing the mechanics, I think it's very strong. I think it's probably too strong because that Savage is free and free card draw every turn. 0 energy draw a card doesn't even cost you your action, and it buffs it when you draw it. So that's woof. That is a lot of free value. So yeah, this is pretty disgusting actually. Yeah, no, the more I think about it, the worse it gets. This is very very strong, way too strong.
I mean, as cool as it is, it's too powerful. I think the idea that the creator had was that it was supposed to be balanced with the fact that it doesn't have an ability, but he really doesn't need to have an ability. He's gonna be
Mm.
attacking. It's what world eaters do, so they want to play aggro, and he's constantly supplying himself with more fuel, which is very scary because one of the ways to actually beat aggro is to exhaust the resources, right? Because aggro keeps like pushing, and then if they don't manage to push, then they suddenly start running out of cards or running low on cards, and then the game becomes difficult for them, right?
Yeah,
Aggro
but this guy will
needs
never
card
run out of
draw.
draw.
This will never run out of cards. This will never run out of
Yeah.
cards, and whatever he
Interestingly,
draws the
it's slower as well
bloodthirst.
than regular Khan, all the other ones. So actually, it would go from an aggro deck to a mid-range or a tempo deck, which
Hmm.
is quite interesting. But yeah, it's still absolutely busted.
Yeah, plus like if you were to play this in Legacy and get something with Bloodthirst, like for example, imagine getting the Syric Landspeeder, dropping it, and then slapping protocols on it, and it has a Bloodthirst by default. Yeah, I think there's just too many
No, no,
problems
no. They
with this.
nerfed it, mate. For a start, Sec doesn't have fast anymore, and also, um, this only draws a starties, not vehicles. So you would be safe from that at least.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, there's
I,
no way to get a faster starties in World Eaters. I don't.
is there possible to get a invisible Astartes?
Well, you could always run escape vents. There's actually a pretty common combo deck in Legacy where you just you just hyper draw through until you get Argus Brond and then stealth him,
Yeah.
and then your opponent loses next turn.
Yeah, as it used to be with my old Chabrandar. And the
Yeah.
Butcher's Nails is just disgusting because you're essentially getting the Gorefather for 3. So
Yeah.
plus other
I
bonuses.
mean, all I can really say is it's nicely formatted mostly, and the art is beautiful. But like overall, this is just way too strong.
Yeah, a little bit, not a little bit, quite a bit too powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is the Chondon squad. Not something that I actually expected to see. So this is the Chondon Despoiler squad with 5 energy, 6/3 flank, drop pod, rally, swap a troops, attack and health around until. Say what now?
The end of this turn. It's just badly worded.
Oh,
you mean
okay.
swapping?
Okay, so essentially you target something and its health and. Oh, I see. Okay. So you drop it, it's a flank unit. You can also use it as a non-flank unit by just dropping it and having a drop pod on it. And it can help you take out a unit if it has high attack and like low attack and high health. You swap it around. Let's say you're playing against Death Guard. This could be really, really good. So it's like it's a pretty flexible unit. For some reason, it has that front line icon to the left, but I guess that's just a mistake. It should have been a drop pod. I think Chondon squad, I'll be honest, was good as it was. I used to run it a lot on my aggros.
It used to be, but you got to remember power creep's been a thing.
Well, yeah, that is also very true. So, well, I mean, it's not bad. I actually quite like it. It's all right, I think. So, what do you think?
I think there's a bit much going on here. Is the thing. I like where he's going with like just flank and drop pod. That's enough of a buff already because like you gain the sort of modularity. You can use it as a flanker, or you can have it just be on an empty board. It just maintains the drop pod for a bit of extra protection, so it can connect. I like that. The rally, in addition to that, that's a very interesting ability, but it just feels out of place. It's like what is it about being a despoiler squad that makes it swap things? Maybe if it was, I guess they're kind of like the rad warfare. They do all the sort of debuffing stuff, but yeah, it's just got a lot going on. Yeah, it's interesting, and I do like seeing Chondon squad represented.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Sigfasti Seekers.
Oh, this one I'm pretty certain has been replaced. Oh, wait, no, this is the replaced version. Cool, all good. All right, me then. So Sigfasti Seekers, 1 energy, rare Space Wolf Astartes. It's got 1/2 stats for 1 energy. It's a Seeker squad, and it has Vantage, Rally, trigger the pack of a random friendly unit twice, and 1 energy return to your hand. So, I like the idea of this card, but I also see how I would like it more instantly. So obviously this has lots of uses. You can immediately trigger packs and things like that. It's random, but it's you can control that pretty easily, and as long as you have a pack, or if you do have a warlord with pack, you can just make sure the warlord gets it. Problem is the Vantage basically makes it very much repeatable, spammable, and annoying, and probably a little bit broken as well, to be honest. So instantly the thing that pops into my mind, I like that you kept the return to hand ability. That feels cool. I like that. But what I would change is remove the Vantage, replace with stealth. That would fix the card instantly, I'd say, because that way, if it lives long enough, it can come back and you can do it again. In fact, I'd even say keep the maybe change the rally to being part of the ability as well. So it's 1 energy, return to your hand, trigger a friendly unit's pack, or something like that.
I think
if it has stealth, that way your opponent has a chance to try and interact with it, and it's doing the sort of like the stealthy scout thing. It's a lot flavorful. It comes in, observes, gives information, disappears back off, and relocates to do it again. That's very flavorful, like mechanics meeting gameplay, meeting flavor.
I just think twice might be a little bit too much, honestly.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well, to be honest, yeah.
I think the best way to fix it would be 1 energy, 1/2 as it is, without Vantage, just have slapped stealth on it, or just make the pack trigger once, and you can have Rally trigger the pack of a random friendly unit, And
Okay.
then or even targeted friendly unit, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say target as well. Actually, I do prefer that. The last thing Space Wolves need is more random bullshit.
So changes to rally trigger a targeted unit's pack but once, and then return to your hand as a rally. So that would be pretty good.
Yeah, and it's very flavorful. It reminds me of the old one as well. In fact, you know what you could even... Okay, we're really cooking here now, aren't we? You could have it be a modular rally, modal rally ability. So if you friendly, it triggers the pack. If you target an enemy, it deals 1 damage, like the original.
Yeah, that could also be pretty cool. Yeah.
Also, make it trigger hunt as well. Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays we need that.
But yeah, no, I like what you're going for here. This, I do get it, but yeah, it's a bit. It needed a little more time in the oven.
Fair enough. Agreed.
Yeah.
Jubac
Right.
Starsight. So Imperial
retro.
Psyker. Okay. When your opponent draws a card in their turn, during their turn, I guess, reveal it and spend all remaining energy. Increase the cost of that card equal to energy spent to a maximum of 10. Okay, so okay, there's one thing that I don't get. Whenever your opponent draws a card, you're spending your own remaining energy, I guess?
Yeah, looks like it. Although the way it's worded is ambiguous, so good point for calling that out. Yeah.
I think there's two ways you can interpret this card, and both of them I think are a... Okay, so let's just assume that it's your energy, not the enemy's, because
Well, yeah, it obviously should be. It's just you are correct. The wording is bad.
The issue that I have with this is that how many times are you realistically gonna have more like extra energy left? Because one of the main ideas of the game is to be energy efficient, right, and spend as much energy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could do a lot of disruption with it. I think it's pretty interesting in its own way. It could be really interesting, to be honest. I just don't know how effective it would be, because...
well,
go
I was
on.
going to say it's worth noting you don't need to keep energy around. You can just not have any leftover energy. It will still reveal the card, which is important information and useful info to have. So, And it's been down costed a little bit. It's actually a 2 energy 2/3, which is an efficient use of stats. It's whereas Jubac in his original form he's 3 energy 2/3 these days, so he's actually understated. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I will say it's a pretty interesting idea. I like it a lot. I just don't know how strong it would be and how playable, but certainly an interesting design. I like it. It's original as hell.
Yeah, very original. I like the balance of it, honestly. I think it's pretty balanced. Yeah, it's just got that wording issue as well, and also props for the extra effort of actually making it in the old-fashioned style.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very cool. All right, let's move on. You get the Night Lord, yay.
Oh, Night Lord for me, as usual. Mercy and Forgiveness. 5 energy, legendary, so it's been upped from 4 to 5. It has your warlord gains, murder can act again. So there's a few issues with the formatting here, but it's overall very clean. It doesn't need the comma because it's still talking about the same subject here. You've correctly put it in quotation marks though, and obviously murder should be its keyword, but that isn't in the captured forge. We need to bug Alder of God about that actually, see if we can get him to do another update now it's been out that Prosper is out. Yeah, otherwise it would be fine. Mechanically, yeah, no, it looks pretty fine, honestly. I like that it would have good synergy with Terror. This is actually a card you might make the Painted Count usable. Probably not, to be honest, but it's strong with new Sevatar. Well, yeah, honestly, I think it might be weak is the thing.
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
I like it, but it's weak, yeah, compared to the old Mercy and Forgiveness.
You know how you would realize that this is weak? First of all, it's weaker compared to the Mercy and Forgiveness, which is older one, and it's also it's a much weaker version than a Skilled Raider, which costs 1 energy, literally.
Yeah, that is true.
It's
Although this would trigger off active abilities as well, so there's that. But yeah, that's a very minor benefit. It doesn't make up for 4 energy worth of difference. I agree.
yeah, I just think idea is very interesting, but I just think it's just too weak. That's the issue.
Yeah, maybe what's this, like a 3 energy card? You reckon?
Probably 3 would be okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. Hmm. But it's
Wormy,
cool.
actually, Wormy Friend made a good point. I was just scared that it would be too oppressive. He's right.
Oh yeah, no, of course,
You
man.
gotta be careful with Night Lord's cards in general because that's a faction that can be very oppressive due to whole terror and shit. But you know what? Ramp down the cost to 3, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, you could do something with this. It'd be interesting. I might even play it in. Well, this is the thing though, is that I can't think of many scenarios where I'd want this, even if it was like 3 energy over the original, because the original is just amazing.
Would be a great way of triggering the mission.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, it would be good with mission.
Yeah, people would
Wait, no,
play
because
display civilians.
mission is terror. It's not murder.
Yeah, so what? Like you put this on, you drop civilians, and you complete the mission in 1 turn with the painted count, for example.
Oh yeah, I suppose a bit of a gimmick build there. It would be good with new Kurz, wouldn't it? Actually, because his reckoning it triggers off murder. So there you go. That's a use for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that might make him worthwhile.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
ramp down
3
the
energy,
cost.
maybe even 2. Yeah, maybe even 2.
Okay, fair enough.
God damn.
Subjugator Titan, wasn't this a cleave 10 or am I wrong?
Yes, it was.
Okay, but look at, oh my god, what the heck. So it was, as I remember, it used to have a shield and be a cleave, right?
Yes,
But it was
10,
just
10,
way too slow.
10 with cleave 10.
It was just way too slow, but this one is cleave 5 and lower stats with no shield, being rebalanced, but with perfection it gains flank and with murder can act again. This is a scary card, and it's an epic. I would say you keep this as a legendary. You know why? Because at 10 energy you can play the civilians, and the enemy warlord potentially takes 10 damage from this. Even more.
Oh man. Yeah, no, this is way too strong, and also I don't especially like the changes made as well. It's so the original is an iconic design. It's classic. It's e.g. it's their first sort of introduction of Titans to the game, because this is a very famous variant of Titans, is specifically used by the Emperor's children. I some of it I like. The perfection on the 9 energy is interesting. The use of murder fits with the Subjugator Titans theme. It's a very Slaneshi style ability as well sometimes. The nerf of the cleave 5 and the arbitrary stats and losing the shield, those I don't like. It doesn't feel like the original card anymore. It doesn't feel like a Titan either. Titans are big, Titans are bold, Titans are expensive, and yeah. I also, that's not even considering balance, which no, this is busted. What the fuck? That's pretty much guaranteed, delete something and burn your opponent for 5. You can even burn them for 10 if you get lucky, or even more, hypothetically. But then you'd have to get a very lucky scenario to hit them 3 times in 1 turn with it. But it's not impossible, which is the worry.
Taliban's heart.
So, yeah, oh god. That poor man.
Yeah, little toxic. Not a little toxic, quite toxic.
Very toxic, yeah.
What the hell is this? Okay, may I read this? Because I'm like... Ambassador Melga Shit Rage Inducer Prime. This piece of shit card is the most terrible card in all existence. If I could, I would erase it from the planet full of exterminators. What the fuck possessed EG to create such a brain dead go fuck yourself hubris hatred? This probably fed Kharn more than any slaughter ever could. This is what Horus saw on Davin. And oh my god, wait a minute.
The true reason Lukas rebelled, and I can't read the last line. He's devolved into pixels of anger at this point.
Yeah, return a troop with 3 or less attack to hand. You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is that it's actually pretty good.
It's balanced, yeah, a bit better. It's not really fixed the problem though. It's just made it slightly less powerful. It's like the core issue is still there. It's just degraded it down from 4 to 3.
Yeah, but actually, that's actually a big strike because now it cannot
helps,
really. It helps a lot, actually. So I think that would actually make it more bearable.
Yeah, obviously this is a bit memey though, so we probably can't up this anything. Also, it's a troop instead of infantry, so slight issue there. I gotta say though, Ambassador Melga shit rolls off the tongue just beautifully though. It's
Absolutely.
Ambassador Mega shit on his toilet of doom.
So many Melgators today and Nykonas. Okay, moving on. Shad, orbital base.
All right, orbital base, 5 energy, epic Imperial Army tactic. Shuffle your hand into your deck, spend all your energy, draw a card for each energy spent. Like, goddamn, this is an interesting ability, but goddamn, is it overcosted? Like, okay, what is the hypothetical best case scenario? You have no cards in hand, top deck orbital base. It's turn 9 or 10, and you have 10 full energy to spend. Drop this. Your whole turn is gone, and you draw 5 cards. That's a fucking terrible exchange. That is the best case scenario, and it's still utter trash. So I saw this ahead of time a bit, and I ran through the numbers in my head, and basically this should be like 1 energy.
Yeah,
That's the number I came up with.
That's the one that I thought instantly when I looked at it as well.
Yeah, it's a really cool card, but holy shit, this is so when it comes.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a potentially very good design, but overcosted as hell. So just put it in low energy, and it's going to be a big hand refill at the cost of losing a turn. So,
yeah, it's your entire turn, exactly. It's gone. And you don't get to keep any of the other shit you have anyway, so it's never pure card advantage.
And you know what you could do, for example? Let's say you could be playing Sons of Horus, slap Chosen of the Four on yourself and do this, and that gives you a chance to draw your planetary invasion, for example. So there are some pretty interesting uses, but it has to be lower cost.
Yeah, it would be a very good combo card, hypothetically. Or you could do disgusting Alpha Legion things with it.
Well, as always.
That's always the case, isn't it? Pale Spear, go burr. But yeah. Yeah, 1 energy, I'd say, would make this better. Maybe 2 if you wanted to be conservative. Because, like, look at the rate. If you're spending 3 energy on this, and it was, let's say it was 1 energy, you're dumping your whole card hand, and you're spending 3 energy to draw 2 cards, essentially. That is the going rate. So, 4 energy, you're spending 4 to draw 3, etc., etc. It just scales up there. It's not good. Oh, you playing Fulgrim Zermal? I suppose you might. Yeah. I'll be drawing to the discounted 0-cost cards for that disgusting, irritating combo deck. They nerfed that, though, so thank God. Good riddance. That was an annoying deck.
Yeah, it was. Retribution, 8 energy. What's the current cost of Retribution?
7.
Okay, destroy all troops except your troop with the highest bastion. If you control no troops, give the warlord bastion 5. So this is the Conqueror. This is overpowered.
Yeah, it's better Conqueror already. Although to be fair, Conqueror was never played, so theoretically, there's nothing wrong with power creeping Conqueror slightly.
Angron ran double Conqueror.
Angron was always a meme though, after he was nerfed. Well, rebalanced, Well, I mean, he was never a serious deck post rebalance.
I don't know if it's a good idea to have your big unit be left. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. It's too strong. I agree. I'm not saying that this is balanced. I'm just saying there's nothing theoretically wrong with power creeping for a slightly, but this is a bit more than a slight power. A lot of power creep.
Maybe. We have a similar card currently in the game, which is the Gladiatorial Pits, and what it does, I think destroys everything except both players' troops with highest attack, right?
Yeah, and that's to nerf that to 6 energy.
Yeah.
No, someone else is pointing out as well. I hadn't gotten to that yet, but yeah, it's another good point. This is not a legacy card, so this technically does not fulfill the competition.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's also true. By the way, was the Gladiatorial Pits nerfed?
Yeah, it used to be 5 energy.
Oh wow, okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay, moving on then. That has to get disqualified.
Oh, you don't analyze it any further? Yeah, to be fair, it's not.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could, but I already kind of said what I think. I think it's good in terms of being interesting. Sure, you can power creep the Conqueror, but I think also leaving a unit is a bad idea. Maybe you could
make
say
it
like
energy balance, maybe. Even a 10, it would be a bit much, wouldn't it? To be honest. Anyway,
maybe 9. I mean, giving Imperial Fist double board clear, I don't think is just good.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, even at 10 energy, I think it would be too powerful.
Yeah. That's why I said the same thing. Yeah. Okay, Rylnor.
Right. Let's see. So, 6 energy, legendary 6/7. Oh, now damn, Rylonor's been juicing. He is the Ancient of Rites, legendary Emperor's Children vehicle. He has shield, can be played over other troop, replacing it until this unit is destroyed. When a friendly unit triggers perfection, the replaced troop gains +2/+2. So that is super cool and interesting. But also, I'm 99% sure EG couldn't do that.
It's very flavorful though. Like it's really does show the whole Rylnor personality there. Just like all the other, if you remember, like all those dreadnoughts like Rylnor and Huron-Fall, when they dropped on Istvan, the very first thing they were always pushing was telling the Astartes, "You hide, and we don't need to hide. Like we're gonna be."
Yeah, exactly. Hide behind my bulk, and yeah.
Yeah, even though Huron-Fall lied and he got smoked, greatest last stand ever. But like, together with Rylnor, of course. But this is like a very flavorful thing, very cool. I really, really, really like it. I just think that it's kind of weird if EG would be able to do it though. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it didn't need the stat bump, I don't think. Considering you kept the shield, it could have probably stayed as a 6 energy 4/7. Because realistically, you're going to play this, you're going to instantly trigger a perfection of some kind. It gives those +2/+2 stats immediately, essentially. So yeah, I'd have kept it as a 4/7. Slight other formatting issue as well. Shield should probably be on a separate line, although EG are inconsistent. So that's
There's also an extra perfection to the left.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you wouldn't put that in because it doesn't itself have perfection. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's EG's problem if they can't code this. So, pretty good idea. I like it.
Yeah, in a better made card game, you could do this. In fact, I'm 90% sure I've seen this before in some area, maybe, or I don't know. There are games that do this. It's a cool idea. Yeah. Hey, he's back.
10 energy 0/1 dies at the end of your turn.
Finally, balance.
There's only one person who could have done this to the Night Lords, and I think everybody knows who this is. So yeah, there's actually been a lot of Night Lord hate lately, and I can totally get behind it. Fuck the Night Lords.
Good. My rhetoric is working. I will educate these people. Night Lords suck.
Yeah. I like a couple of them, but mostly they do. But I do have to say their books are good.
Oh yeah. But from what I've read, that what's his face, Talos, whatever, he seems cool, but their fucking lore overall is shit and edgy, and their mechanics are garbage. So yeah, fuck them. All right.
Okay, that will be all of them.
Yeah, no other late entries.
No other late entries, indeed. I believe so. Shall we? All
right. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. There's quite a few good entries this time. Honestly, it's not an easy like slam 3 and pig.
Okay, let me say which ones I really like. Okay. I have to say I like Aquilon Terminators. I really like the Feron militia.
Yep.
I really, really do like still the Nykona. I mean the one that's
the second one.
Yeah, the second one. I really like that one. I also think that let me actually take a look. I mean chrom needs some work, but it's all right.
I really like Lukas chrom, honestly.
Chrom was also pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, Kharn has issues.
Yeah.
Chondon squad is alright, but doesn't really...
It just feels a bit messy with that final ability tacked on, doesn't it? The rally. It didn't need it.
Absolutely. I think Sigfasti Seekers are good, but they need a lot of tuning as well. Interesting card with the Jubac starsight, for sure.
Yes, I like Jubac, but it did need a better wording update.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I do like Mercy and Forgiveness, but needs a cost reduction. And I think that would... And Rylnor is pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe,
slight issue with
yeah.
Mercy and Forgiveness, actually, I didn't pick up on the first time around. I forget. I almost always remember this. Is you basically should probably never use Can Act Again. You should always use Can Act once more, because Can Act Again has like really weird exponential interplay and like synergy with bloodthirst effects. So it just creates lots of unintended
Yeah.
bad interactions. So yeah,
Oh,
always use Can Act once more if you can instead of Can Act Again, unless it's really necessary for the design.
Chad, before we actually do that, let's take a look at the Garviel Loken. Just, it was still submitted,
right.
yeah. So it was actually made into a Sigilites warlord instead of the Sand of Horus one.
Well, I would say that kind of fits.
Yeah, it makes the...
You can put it back in if you want, man, honestly.
Yeah.
It is still a rework of an original card. I mean, I did see it. It's not really gonna. It's not gonna win anything, I don't think, because it's just there's so much going on. But
let's take a look. So we got Survivor 5, Ward, and Requiem. Create Final Journey in your hand. 2 energy, deal 2 damage to the target, or 4 if it's a demon. And the Final Journey, choose 1 first strike and +1 damage for 1 turn. Deal 2 damage to the enemy, or heal your warlord for 2. Yeah, the problem with this is that it's too much. Yeah. Like, it permanently giving a warlord ward is a no-no overall, because it's nasty as hell. Ability is alright, sure, I can get the whole demon thing. He also gets Survivor.
Just dumping all over one tribe for no reason. I've never liked effects like that.
Yeah, silver bullet
imagine queuing up into this guy as Ruined Storm, just like, oh, well, alright, I guess I'll just concede.
And plus the fact that he can still be creating final journeys is a little bit too much, I think.
Oh, Wormy friend, I'm not talking specifically about comboing, Mercy and Forgiveness with itself. I agree, definitely. This would be replacing the original. I'm just saying, like, weird interactions, like you generate something with Kaizu Lane, or you steal it with Jubac, or you create this out of Mercy and Forgiveness and slam it on Kharn or whatever. Like, they're not intended. EG almost never put Can Act Again and Bloodthirst together in the same place. But like whenever they do by accident, or like Orders from Terror or something, it always does broken shit. So you should just it's not. I'm not calling out on your card in particular. I'm just saying it's a general rule of thumb: is you should never use Can Act Again. You should always use Can Act once more, almost without exception. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, sorry. This Loken just has like a bazillion things going on with it, and none of the mechanics really like tie to him very well either. As well, I've noticed. Like, why does he have wards? Why does he have Requiem? Why does he have Survivor? I guess Survivor makes sense because
Survivor makes total sense. I mean, the guy survived Eastman. Come on.
Yeah, tanky man. Yeah, this just
okay. Let me just get one thing cleared. If you remember, Shad, because I just gotta recheck that he was technically beating Abaddon, wasn't he, during Istvan? But then he got smacked after.
From what I remember, not really, but it's been a long time since I read that book. The problem was he was using a chainsword against what is essentially a war tank. So I don't think there was any chance he ever won that fight.
I gotta double check that, because no, he's definitely not nearly as strong as Abaddon, but he's very versatile. And I think he was using the environment to his advantage. I gotta read that again.
Trying to open an M1 Abrams with a butter knife. It just wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, I just gotta check it. Anyway, so back to the topic. So, chat, who are your votes for number 1?
Oh, Feron's Militia, Lukas Chrom, Aquilon Terminators. They all are in contention, in my opinion.
Is the same for me. Yes.
Yeah, I like those 3 for top 1 spare. I'm not sure which one it is, but I like those 3.
I am going to go ahead and say Feron Militia.
You really think so? We we get shit in the card creation server sometimes. We're like, oh, you put such a basic card in first place. You're so boring.
Yeah, but like, come on. Okay.
I do like it. It's got a lot of interactions, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you why I think it's the best one. I'll explain. Aquilon, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Aquilon Terminator problem is that it's legendary, first of all, which I think it shouldn't be, and not because it breaks the rules or anything, but I think it doesn't make sense for it to be legendary. Yeah, and Exemplar still has that weird interaction with Magna Imperator, which could be pretty disgusting, because it's still kind of weird. With Lukas Chrom, it's an amazing card, but you are right, with Can't Attack, it does have potential issues, while the militia doesn't really have a problem.
Yeah, no, you're right. Feron's militia, there's nothing wrong with it.
That's exactly why I like this card. There's literally nothing wrong with it. So I don't
Yeah, no,
know.
it goes a long way, doesn't it? Perfect formatting, perfect design intent, perfect execution.
Like, oh, it really didn't do
I
anything
do
wrong.
really like Lukas Chrom though. It just despite the issues, like the balance is a bit off, the wording's off, but it's just I would love to play that card. Right. So do we agree Feron's militia in first then?
I like. I think so. Yeah, people are also saying that. Yeah, I think Feron's militia should just go to number 1.
Yeah, works for me then. Does that mean 2 and 3 just go to those two, and we'll figure out where they go then, or are there any others?
Let's
that
think.
could take
Let's
second?
think. Let's give others the chance as well. But definitely, Aquilon and Lukas Chrom are going for number 2, and I would say perhaps we add Nykona there as well.
I don't know. I don't think I really like Nykona that much. I think it's too close to the original design, and it's also a bit toxic in some ways. And there's just a few little issues with it. It would be too consistent, too aggravating, and I don't know. It is good though in some ways.
No,
But then there's nothing wrong with the original design. Is the problem?
Strast,
Of all the cards to rebalance, why that one?
Yeah, well, that is also pretty true. Strast, it's not the same. The attack and health are swapped, and Relentless is now Resolution. Okay, so, yeah, you're kind of right, to be honest.
Yeah, all the cards to rebalance. I get the Nykona as a fan favorite, but the card it's just fine, honestly.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say he's still the strongest warlord. So if anything, you should have nerfed him.
Okay.
He's in out of all of them, I think in Legacy he is the strongest warlord of the Raven Guard. Still.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Okay, so how do we discuss the Aquilon and Lukas Chrom is the question.
I just like Lukas Chrom better. That's all it comes down to, honestly.
Me too. To be honest, I prefer Lukas Chrom a little bit.
I mean, you could argue that Aquilon is balanced, but at the same time, it's still not a very fun gameplay experience necessarily. It's kind of feast or famine. You either have the answer to it, in which case you penetrate through the front line and kill your opponent most likely, or you don't, in which case he dumps an extra 8-9 onto the board, and you probably can't recover from that. So, yeah, the gameplay is better from Lukas Chrom as well, even if the balance is a bit off. So,
I think so as well. So,
yeah, I think Lukas takes second. Only one I would say maybe is a potential for third is the Jubac starsight, but it does have the wording issue. But at the same time, the card's really kind of interesting.
Very well. So I think we will agree that Feron is going to be 1 and Chrom is going to be 2. But now let's discuss 3, Jubac versus the Terminator.
Yeah. See, I would miss original Jubac if this Jubac replaced him. But at the same time, it is less RNG, so it's probably better for the game. And it's also less of an auto-include. But then, I don't know how and when is information important in this game? And the answer is probably always. So I don't really know if it would really make any interesting deck building decisions. We just have to see how it works out. It would either be good enough that it would be played in every deck, or it would be not good enough and it wouldn't be played in any deck. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I think Aquilon edges it for me at least. What do you reckon?
I think a little bit with the Aquilon. The Jubac is nice and all, but the thing is, it's very situational. I think what Jubac has it is a perfect idea of a very interesting design, but maybe it needs a little bit more work. Is what I'm thinking.
The more I think about it though, because it does have the spending active ability as well, so I do quite like that as like a trend, a curve setter at the end. It is quite a cool control tool. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards Jubac now, actually. Yeah,
it's a free energy dump if you think about it.
Sort of, yeah. But you're only maintaining parity. It's not like you're getting an advantage over your opponent. You are spending energy on a 1-to-1 basis, and they're getting it as well. In fact, you're even wasting some of it if it hits a card that it can't increased to the full cost. I mean, if you hit desperate defense with 4 energy, it's only going to go up to 10. It can't go up to 12.
Let's think about it this way. So realistically, so if you play it as a 3 energy, you're increasing the cost of something by 1. That could be a big deal if you hit a good card. Now, higher than 3, already you are starting to get a problem, because 4 and 5 energy is already when the enemy is starting to take control of the board. And if you're not playing on curve, chances are the enemy's dominating. And
they can just play their other cards that Jubac didn't hit. Yeah, exactly.
So that's the issue that I see with Jubac currently.
That's the thing. I like that. It gives you something to do, and it'll matter if the game goes long enough that your opponent is forced to actually play that card. So it's kind of well balanced in that regard. And the stats are appropriate for it, because you like we've said, it's not a very immediately impactful ability, so it doesn't need a low understated body. So it keeps the original stats, nerfs the cost a bit, obviously, to fit the new ability. I think it's a 3rd place, honestly. I think I like it more than Aquilon.
I'm stuck.
Should we put it to the vote?
I think we let the people vote, yeah, because I'm stuck.
All right, yeah.
Jubac
versus Aquilon.
I really don't know what to say about this, because both are really good. Because, seriously, both are so good in their own way. Is Aquilon with 1L or double?
It's supposed to be with 1, but he spelt it with 2 here. So there you go. There's another point against Aquilon Terminators.
Oh my god. The chat point. Wait.
Yeah. Keep on drawing blood.
Okay, so let's see what the people think.
Democracy.
Come on, guys, don't be shy. Vote. Oh, we already have 8 votes. Nice. And I think it's clear. 9 votes with 9 viewers on stream. I think that is clear. So we to give this 3rd place to none other than. Okay, wait a minute. 10 votes? How is that possible?
Oh, 11. No, you got more viewers coming in, man.
Okay,
12 watching now.
Let's give it a couple of seconds then. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, for the last remaining watcher.
Yeah, let's give it 1 more minute, and we'll just smack.
There we go. All right, what's the result?
Ooh, Igor is watching Alien Romulus. It was very close, and tell us, Igor, if it's going to be good. Jubac wins, so we're going to give it to Jubac. So who was Jubac from? Let's double check. Jubac. ZMK Gaming, nice. ZMK.
Saying it to him in the Discord the other day, it's like his cards are always either perfection or garbage. There's no in between. Yeah, it either wins or I shit all over it.
Okay, that was pretty funny. Hello, Sienna. Okay, so nice. Okay, I think we got it right. Number 1 is from Feron militia. Number 2 is going to be Chrom, which is from Seer, aka Voihilgarda, I think, and number 3 is going to be from ZMKG.
If the balance and wording was a bit better on Chrome, it would have taken first, I reckon, because it's a cooler design. It's than Feron's militia. It's just not executed well.
Yeah, Feron's militia was just not so well.
Feron's is good. Feron's is solid, but Lukas Chrom, I really like the idea he went with there.
Okay, yeah, hello, Lord. Ducks are coming in again. Oh my god, not again.
What are the ducks? I don't understand the ducks.
I don't get it either. I think it was because on one stream I had duck and goose on the stream. I have no idea how that happened. I have no idea. So there's a duck riding, and there's suddenly somebody named Goose, and Jesus Christ, it was crazy. Seer, please text me how exactly your nickname is in the game again. The Voy Hilgarda, I remember, but can you retext me on Discord, because I gotta send it. And I actually need to find out the name of the guy who's playing Feron Militia. I have his Discord, but not the in-game name, so...
is that a first-time winner? Oh, nice. Congrats to that guy, then.
It's his second submission. One actually was ages ago with his Ariman submission, if you remember. It was very interesting, but didn't quite make it.
Was that the one that was part of a 40k thousand son?
No, it was something that had a very cool AI art, I think, with Ariman's helmet off.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think I remember that one, but I'm yeah. Oh, sorry, man. Did we disqualify you at the last second again, Eros? Sorry, man.
Wait, did we disqualify someone?
Well, technically, we didn't. It was democracy in this case, which I
Ah.
understand that the Russian is a foreign concept to you.
Okay. I don't think he's Russian. Oh my god.
Just kidding, man. We love your cards. Keep them coming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Hypnomarine is always in the finals at least, so pretty cool. Okay, that was a good one. Okay, so guys, pretty good as always. Thank you very much for your submissions. Me and Shad are going to cook up some stuff for you again for the next tournament, and yeah, we'll let you know very soon. So keep them coming, man. Keep the good cards coming, and we'll be seeing
Congrats
you
to
in
the
the next one.
winners. Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.